covenant keeping God. You are the covenant keeping God. Yahweh, the covenant keeping God. Yahweh, the covenant keeping God. You never leave me. You said that you won't forsake me. You walk beside me. And that is...
Today we want to talk about covenants. Covenants. Somebody say covenant. Louder. Well, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 9, talks about how God regards covenants. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 9. Know, recognize, understand, therefore, that the Lord your God, He is God, the faithful God, who keeps covenant and steadfast love and mercy with those who love Him and keep His covenant to 1,000 generations. 1,000 generations. So 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, up to 1,000. So what this shows us is that God honors covenants. As believers, we are covenant believers. The reason is that when we talk about covenant, just as in business, we talk about contracts signed. Once a contract is signed, you can begin to execute. You agree. How much are you going to give me as mobilization? When are we coming to site? When do you want me to complete? What do you want me to do? How do you want me to do it? You put everything there. You sign, I sign, I sign, you sign. You go and start work. You say the contract has been awarded. God does not deal with contracts. Or He doesn't deal with us in the way of contracts. He deals with us in the way of covenant. And the covenant guarantees His commitment and the security of what is being promised. And that is why one of the easiest ways to commit God is to enter into a covenant. It's not an easy thing. But if you are able to be faithful to the covenant terms, it's very strong. Remember, Hannah did it. The mother of Samson did it. It's very strong. It's a way to draw God's attention because you let him know now that you are serious. You are not telling him that this is not a casual agreement or relationship. I am serious. I'm bringing something to the table. And the reason I'm preaching this sermon is, first of all, to make us know the power of covenant. To know that there are some things we are looking for which can only come to us if we honor God's covenant. There are things we will look for, we will never get it because we have ignored his covenant. Whether we decree it or pray about it or fast about it, we will never get it. And then also, to help us renew our covenant and break covenants that are unholy bonds that deprive us from enjoying blessings that have been released. And we want to say first here that there are two basic types of covenants and covenant elements. And the first one is the conditional or the bilateral covenant. Conditional. This covenant binds you and God. And what it entails is that there are some things God will do for you. There are some conditions you will fulfill. There are some expectations that the covenant will bring. And if you fail or God fails, because they say God never fails, he had to close it so that if you are suspecting that something has happened to the covenant, don't look at his side. You shouldn't look at his own side. You should look at your side. That's why it says God never lies, God never fails. So if any member of the party breaks the covenant, there is punishment. So in this case, if you break that covenant, you have some punishments. And on your part is a covenant of works. There is something you have to do. It's a covenant of works. There is something you need to do because God is always working. You have to do something. And an example of that covenant is the one in Genesis chapter 2 verse 15. When God told Adam and Eve, I've blessed you, you will multiply, you will be fruitful, you will do this, you will be my friend, I will support you. But you are free to eat of all the trees in the garden. But the tree, the knowledge of good and evil, don't eat. The day you eat it, your enjoyment will stop. The day you eat it, our friendship will stop. The day you eat it, you will no longer be here in my presence. You will hide from me. You will not want to come into my presence. You will not want to pray. You will not want to kneel down. You will not believe in the things of God. And I will start looking for you. And when God continued to keep his own path, he came in the middle of the day, he provided for them all kinds of seed-bearing fruits, the river flowing, animals were not able to kill anybody. The lions were there, the leopards, the hyenas, everything. They were all moving together. They were all walking together. They would come and wake Adam up from sleep. Adam will wake up, be looking at the lions. Every friendship, paradise. And when Adam broke that covenant with God, finish. An angel was positioned with a flaming sword, never entered his garden again. Every blessing that God gave to man, he started reversing them. Man was supposed to live forever. You will not live forever again. We now became enemies of animals. The lions were angry. The leopards, the tigers, they were angry. They started feeling that St. Paul says creation started groaning. The whole of creation, the whole of creation, groaning. They recognized that something was wrong. Something is missing. Something is missing. They were waiting for fulfillment. They were waiting for the sons of God to manifest their glory as it was before. They discovered that these are no longer the persons we used to know. The glory left them. They were now in the garden sweating, struggling, going to farm. And they said, well, we cannot be friends. So man had to share it. In the afternoon, they will go and rest because we can no longer agree. In the night, we go and rest. They will come out. If they see you, they kill you. And that was reconciled later by Jesus when he was born in the manger in the midst of animals, reconciling even animals to men. Even with that, it has never been the same. If a lion comes here now, how many of you will wait? Praise the Lord. So that's the meaning of covenant. That's the way God takes covenant. So any covenant in the Bible, anything that God has said, do this, I will do this, and he doesn't fail you. He's giving you life, he's giving you health, he's giving you family, he's giving you partner, he's giving you children, and then we just see it as casual blessing. God does not like it. Then we have the other one we call unconditional covenant, unilateral covenant. This covenant is one-sided. It is entered into by two persons, God and you. Sometimes there's a covenant between the church and God, like a man and a wife. And he does not expect you to do anything. He fulfills the covenant. And this covenant is based not on your weakness or your sinfulness, but it's based on the faithfulness of God. You will be living your life, you will not know that you are under covenant and that you are enjoying covenant blessings. But the reason you are alive and you are seeing grace and mercy, even if you have crossed the lines, you have hit the rock bottom, you have gone too far, the covenant sustains you. And it's covenant. And in this covenant, God will say, I will do this, I will do this, I will be your God, I will protect you, I will defend you, I will do this. God entered into that covenant with Abraham in Genesis chapter 12, verses 2 to 3. He was dishing out to Abraham. Abraham did not do anything. He said, God appeared to Abraham, and Abraham, he told Abraham, I will do this, I will show you a land. The man was just watching. I will do this, I will make you great. He began first of all in verse 1, I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great. You will be a blessing, and I will bless Those who bless you, those who curse you, I will curse you. Abraham was just looking. Praise the living God. Wave your hands like this. Praise the living God. There are things you are enjoying by reason of the covenant, not because of your goodness or your faithfulness. We don't take them for granted. And that's why when we are doing programs like this, you are deepening your knowledge of the goodness of God. And there are things you are incorporating into your prayer. Like yesterday, you have learned some things that will renew, revive your prayer and your spiritual life. Today, you are learning about covenants, how to thank God for being a covenant-keeping God, for keeping his promises, and how to ask him to help you to keep covenant. Because it's a covenant that helps God to remain with you in that agreement.